Hi there, it's Beauty Junkie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm getting into the new Pat McGrath 2022 Holiday Eyeshadow Palette. This is the Mothership Mega Celestial Nirvana. So many shades in here, so many beautiful pops of color. You guys have seen this. I will be showing you swatches, a couple eye looks, tell you what else I'm going to get from the holiday collection. I already placed another order. Plus, I'll get into this new makeup bag that came with my order. I purchased a couple other things, and this lipstick and pouch came with the order. Very exciting. I picked up her classic highlighter balm for the first time. Also, at the end, in case you do have the holiday palette from last year and you're contemplating, do I need the holiday palette from this year? I'm going to show you a couple of comparison notes. I don't think I'll be swatching every shade from this palette. You guys can check out my video if you guys are curious, but I do want to compare these two palettes a little bit. You can't pick this one up anymore, but if you already have it, you may want to know, do I need this beautiful pink number? This is Barbie core again. So let's get into the details quickly. Here is the outer packaging. You'll notice this palette is slightly more compact than the one last year. Last year's was a little bit longer, barely a little bit longer, but same, a little different. But yeah, so beautiful neon pink color. Here's the packaging, tells you the details of each shade. And this has all the shade info on the back on the actual palette, which is super helpful. So there are 4 different eyeshadow formulas in here. We will go over that, but all these details are online on Pat McGrath's website. If you really want to close up and know, okay, this shade is this kind of formula, all of those details are online. But this is pretty much the same setup as last year's palette. There is the same sort of ribbon packaging right there on the hinge. It's cardboard. It's not the heavy plastic that Pat normally has, but there is a giant mirror. It's still pretty much the same setup. So if you're familiar with last year's, pretty much the same. I will note though, there is no wasted space. Oop, just dug my finger in there. No wasted space in the middle, so it's all eyeshadow. I think this could be even smaller because this is really large and takes up a lot of space. But that's the packaging. This year it went up $4. It went from $78 last year, now it is $82. And if you purchase early, you could get a code for 10% off. I don't know that the code still works, but if you sign up for Pat McGrath's website, you can get the code easily. It's not like it's that exclusive, but I got a few dollars off, but it did go up $4, which I'm not surprised. Inflation, I'm surprised the Mothership palette that came out during the summer didn't go up in price, but now we're seeing those price increases. So this is the first product from Pat's holiday collection this year. I'm excited. I will say I was a little bit on the fence, but I know you guys enjoyed my Pat video, so I did pick it up. And I knew I wasn't going to pick up every product that's coming out in this collection. I placed another order already for her smaller 5 eyeshadow smaller palettes. I picked up both versions, so that will be coming too. You guys stay tuned. Otherwise, I don't think I'm going to be picking up anything else. She has some face palettes, some lip products. I'm going to skip those, some highlighters. Because I really like eyeshadow from this brand most of all. There are a few other good things, but that's what I like, and that's what I'm going to get from the collection. I love how big this collection is this year. It's super exciting. I think we've all been waiting for a collection like this to come out from the Pat. If you guys are curious about this makeup bag, can you pick it up? You can pick up a black one of this right now. You can purchase it. If you were early enough to picking up this palette, you could get this for free if you spent enough money. I did have to pick up another palette, the product, to spend enough money. So I picked up the highlighter. Is it worth it? Probably not. This isn't like this doesn't really cost a lot, this bag. But I don't have any Pat McGrath bags. I haven't seen a Pat McGrath bag before, so I wanted to make sure I could get it. So I spent the extra money for it, and I don't know about this color. It's very coral. I think it's kind of nice though. It's not black, but she does have a black one if you want to buy it. It's pretty simple on the inside. There's a zipper. It's gold. But I think what also is nice about it is I got one of her Lust glosses. This is Heavy Petal, and it's a very much a bright pink. I don't know if I'm going to like it, but it's nice that it came. She has a gift with purchase finally. About time. So that was cool that she threw that in there this time. I will be applying this on my face today for the first time so you guys can see. This is the Nude Skin Finish Highlighter, balm highlighter plus clear balm on the other end. I don't really know how this is supposed to work. I think you can layer the highlighter on top of the clear balm, but I picked that up. All right, let's get into swatches. I did my swatches in segments so you guys could understand what I'm swatching. It's going to be this group first, then the middle group, then the last group on the left here, in that order. So let me know if you guys have any questions about any of the shades, what they're like, let me know. So the top row, the shimmery shades, these are all considered highlighting shades. The matte colors you see are very obviously matte. They call these the structure builders. Those are all matte. So majority of the palette is matte. Then we have our gleaming metallics. These are all the shiny ones in the middle row. Those are metallic. And then on the bottom row, we have all satin frost. So that makes it really simple to keep track of the formula. So satin frost on the bottom, metallic highlighter. Easy peasy. I will note, you guys saw the swatches. I feel like the quality is pretty much in line, but just feeling the textures, I don't know, the mattes feel less buttery. I always compare these to the motherships. They're not the same. The mattes are not the same. Not as smooth and buttery for me. Still get a lot of pigment. I'm sure you guys can see that, but the texture isn't quite as nice, but I still think this palette along with last year's will likely be nice quality, but we will see what these look like on the eyes. I know every shade is not going to be the same. You know, every color pigment kind of works with your skin differently, so we'll see what happens. I'll just give you like my first comments on the palette. I love that there's different pops of color this year than last year, and purple, we notice pink. Obviously, this palette is pink. There is only one pink shade, which I think may be kind of surprising to some of you. You'd think this would be a mostly pink palette. I mean, we do have some metallic pink here, the matte pink, but otherwise that's kind of it. Two different tones of purple, some blues. I think this is kind of the most exciting part. We do have a pop of green, which she doesn't do a lot of green in general. She also doesn't do a lot of blue. There's also this highlighty purple. We had something kind of similar last year, I do think the textures of this palette, she had some really beautiful shiny shades. I didn't feel like I got that from some of these swatches. I feel like there was no real shade that really impressed me that much. I thought this was a nice surprise, but it's not a color I'm gonna use that much, but it looked kind of pretty in the swatch. I think I was pretty disappointed by the swatch of this one. It's just like a super smooth pink matte. I also think the tone of it just doesn't quite work for me either. So I think the pink could have been better. But those are just my initial comments. I do want to finish the rest of my face and then go into the eyeshadow palette quickly. Let's get into the rest of my face. So I didn't have any, I have my complexion on, foundation, concealer, powder, none of it's Pat McGrath. So I'm moving on to the Pat McGrath stuff now. I have one of her cheek duos. This is a blush duo. These are on sale right now if you're interested in picking up other things with this holiday collection. Although there are some cheek palettes, highlighter combos coming out. So you may want to hold off on these. I think they are fun. They're okay. If you want to get them on sale, great. This is Cosmic Coral. So I'm going to apply that on the cheeks. I have, as I said, just complexion products on. I think it has a nice pop to it. Is it my favorite cheek product ever? No, but I do have quite a bit of these blushes from Pat. I do enjoy a couple a lot, so there's that one, nice and bold. Now let's get into this balmy highlighter. So I swatched this. I'll go ahead and throw that up. But so at the top I did of the swatch, I did just this, and then I did this in the middle, which you probably can't see, and then I did the highlighter on top of the balm. I'm gonna do one swipe of the balm and then do this on top. That feels really dewy. I don't know if I'm gonna like that. I don't really get this. I mean, that's pretty. So there are 3 colors of this now, and I got the most boring one, but that's actually kind of nice. Maybe I'll try it without doing the clear balm first because it's a little sticky. That's pretty enough though. Okay, let's get into the eyes as usual. Sun is going down earlier now, so the time I have between work and filming, not a lot. Okay, so what do I want to do? As I broke up the swatches, there's kind of 3 segments. I love greens and neutral tones. I feel like that the neutral stuff is basically all of what Pat does is pinks and neutrals and warms. So I know a lot of people have wanting to do these really fun shades. I feel like I have to do one of my eyes and these purples and blues. And then maybe I'll go into, I don't know, maybe this segment. This feels pretty typical of Pat, besides the green. Maybe I'll do the green in a different video, but maybe I'll just focus one eye on this and one eye on this. And I'm gonna start with some purple mattes here. I'm gonna go into Fabulosity, which is the shade right in the middle here. Ooh, look at that pigment. I have no primer on. Wow, look at that color. This is a little scary. It's been a minute since I've worn bold eyeshadow like this. I kind of love that tone though. This is not blended out. I'm just playing today. These are not going to be the most glamorous, polished looks, but look at that color. Wow. Ooh, so I really want, if we're going to go into purple, I really want to play with Violet Vixen, which is almost a neon purple. I almost don't know what to do with this palette. Ooh, that looks like a mess. Ooh, I love that color. That is intense. Are you guys inspired by this palette? I think it's, wow, impressive so far. Okay, even that navy blue is really tempting. So we have this frosty purple lunar lavender that we could easily kind of go over that whole lid. But I kind of want to do something blue. Aquarian Dream. So I'm going to take Aquarian Dream and see what this can do. Now Pat does have a few purples in her collection, which I absolutely love. She does have a few blues, so this isn't completely new, but I think it's nice to see these bright matte purples all together. I think usually her bright colors have some sort of texture to them, but wow, that blue adds something else. I like this kind of a punk look that, you know, it's not well executed, but I'm just playing here. I think I would need a lot more time to really utilize these colors to their fullest potential. But we have a fun little wash there. You want to take this deep blue under the eye. This is Nocturnal Navy. Blend that out. I know doing this as my first look is probably going to turn some of you away from this palette, but you don't have to use every color. Maybe use one of these colors. You don't have to put them all together. I'm just trying out the fun stuff, the stuff that really appeals to my eye right away. And then I'm going to take Lunar Lavender in the inner corner, our lightest shade in this section, and just pop it in there. This is a highlight shade. Nice little pop there. Super nice. I think I'm gonna stop there though with this look. Into our pinks and reds and warmer tones. So we're gonna kind of go polar opposite over here. I kind of want to start out with our bright pink shade, which is Venetian Peony. Very skeptical of this shade when I swatched it. I thought, this could be smoother, but it's looking pretty on the lid. Nice flamingo shade. I wouldn't say it's quite as neon as the box. I think you guys can see that. But it's not a terrible color. It's just not quite as, you know, bright and flashy. But that's pretty. Probably most of you would think that's actually more wearable than this side. Now I'm going to go into Flame Fatale, which is this orangey red color. So if you guys are curious, like how does she get such bold colors? Pressed pigments have been around for a while now, and some of these are pressed pigments. Some people are really cautious because technically these are not considered, I don't know what the technical term is, not always considered eye safe pressed pigments. You got to be careful if you have eye sensitivities, or these do sort of stain. Look how bold that is. Wow, that's really pretty. Sunset eye, there you go. Some of these colors can stain. I think you noticed maybe in some of the swatches my arm was stained with some of these colors, but I've never had an issue. Some people never will have an issue either. Some people do. Certain colors, it just depends. If you feel like you're in the sensitive camp, you may want to just try out some swatches on your wrist, where you normally test products. It's probably a good idea. I'm gonna take this Auburn Allure underneath the eye. I feel like she's got several maroon shades in her collection. Pat does. So this isn't necessarily a new color, but this amount of red I think is pretty different. This shade here, Starlit Copper, I think. I really want to play with this pink metallic Eternal Armor. I'm going to put this on instead. So I'm going to cross-contaminate here and use this pink on this Sunset Eye, this pink metallic. Ooh, that's pretty. So I could have done the copper, but I'm doing pink instead. Look at that. And then for the inner corner, I'm going to use Golden Angelica, which is this highlighty gold in the inner corner. There's a lot of options in this palette. Like I could use this highlighter shade instead. Something a little brighter. There you have it. Those are both really bold and fun, and honestly pretty easy to put together. Like, this is not a perfect shape, especially this side doesn't look as nice, but I would normally spend a lot more time with something as bold as these, but I think you get the idea. Okay, so I'm going to skip eyeliner. I'm going to go into my MAC Stack mascara, Black Stack mascara, and finish up this look as best as I can. It's not fully put together, but I'm digging it. Fun, it's wild, it's bold. You can create a party look with this palette for sure. I wish her palettes came out closer to the holidays, just like any other holiday collection, just because by the time holidays come around, I'm like, oh yeah, I have the holiday palette. I should use it during the holidays. I don't know. People seem to be planning for the holidays so far in advance. All right, mascara is on. I'm gonna put on this lip gloss that came with my little pouch. Heavy Petal. This is gonna be bright. I love Pat's lip glosses though. Ooh, this is pretty. Actually does go with the palette. I think this could be a look. This needs some work. I am pretty happy with the result. Alright, that is the final look. I'm gonna do some quick comparisons just looking at these two holiday palettes from this year and last year. I'm glad that they made this a little bit more compact. They got rid of, so this is last year's, they got rid of this part. So everything is all pushed together. That was why this one's a little bit smaller. I do think there could be even less space between all the colors. Let's make it even smaller, people. Maybe let's do square pans. Let's make it even smaller. But I think this one overall seems to be a bit more earthy. We don't have as many cool tones. There's a couple. There is like the middle pastel purple shade in here. There is a green, this very chrome green, which I really love. One of the favorite colors from this palette. I wish there was a formula like this green one over here. In here, I do feel like I don't know why I think I like the textures of this one more than this one. I don't know if I think the formula is better or what. I haven't tried all the shades obviously on my eyes, but I don't know. I like the color story. I like that it's different, but I think I like overall the textures of this one a little bit more. But there's different vibes going on here. I think you guys can kind of see that. I like that this is somewhat of a departure for Pat in this one. But do check out the video swatches of this one if you guys want to compare. Overall thoughts on this palette. Do you need it? If you are a Pat collector, you probably already bought it, so kudos to you. But if you're a Pat collector but you're a little bit more choosy, do you need this year's palette? I would say if you're picking this palette for the purple and blue tones, I would actually recommend that you buy the Mothership 1 palette, because I think you could recreate this eye, maybe not as purple, but you could pretty closely recreate this eye and it'd be more flashy with that palette, and it looks actually better than the look you can get out of this palette. I would go for Mothership 1 if you want some pretty cool blue tones. Pick up that one. I know it's more money, but it's just a really pretty look if you want that kind of vibe. Otherwise, this look, it's okay. I think it's pretty. It's not the best if you want this kind of color, but it's decent. I've seen better from Pat. This kind of look is Mothership 1. This side, I think you could probably get something similar from either Mothership 5 or I want to say, I think it's the second Divine Rose palette where she has more of a corally pink color in there. You could probably get something similar to this. But this orangey red, I don't think I've seen in her Mothership. So even more extreme, I suppose, in this look. It's pretty, but I do think you can get something similar from her existing Mothership. So if you're already a collector, you don't need the holiday palettes. I think a lot of people probably are saying that. I don't think you need this one. Now, if you're buying this palette because you don't see a matte green from Patton before, okay, I do need to try it, but I'm not sure it's worth getting this palette for that matte green. It just looks okay from the swatch. But overall, I think the quality, I don't know if it's quite the same as last year. It just seems to be a little bit different, but I got some decent looks out of it, so I can't really complain. I know this palette is less expensive than her Motherships. You get more product, you get different colors, but is quantity better than quality? I have a lot of eyeshadows, so I prefer quality over quantity. I don't buy a lot of palettes like this that come with a bunch of colors normally. I mean, Natasha Denona may be an exception. I think it's nice. I think it's going to be a great gift. It's a great introduction to Pat. You get a lot of classic Pat vibes from this, a lot of pretty golds, browns, neutrals, highlights. But you get some fun shades thrown in. So it's a fun, very fun palette. Do I recommend it? If you're a newbie, if you want to get a good eyeshadow gift, this is nice. If you have a lot of makeup in your collection, you already have a lot of Pat McGrath, you don't need this. It's a skip. I did mention though, I am picking up her two smaller palettes in this holiday collection. I think those actually look really pretty and really nicely curated. I don't know that I need all these eyeshadows, but I'm curious on those if the formula is similar to this, better, worse. But those look really pretty, so I'm excited to get those, dig into them. She did not have those 5-pan palettes last year, so this is a new thing we're getting. So that's always fun. But yeah, I don't know, colorful, but do you need it? Probably not. I think that the highlighter is pretty though. It's not too over the top. The face palettes that are coming out. So the Divine Blush and Glow Cheek palettes that are coming out this collection, there's Nude Venus and Divine Rose. I imagine, I don't know if all of the shades in these palettes are new or not. Some of these shades seem new, and Desert Orchid's definitely not new. Divine Rose 3 is new. I think it's a mixture of old and new, it looks like. Ooh, Desert Orchid 2. I do like Desert Orchid. That looks really orange though. It looks like overall these names are new. So if you want to try the blush formula and highlight formula, I think this is a nice option because you get multiple shades in one. So that's probably a good idea. I don't know, I'm kind of over the blushes. I bought a lot of them and I don't want to buy any more. So I'm not like thrilled about it, but if they are like the best thing ever, you guys will have to let me know. If you want me to do a review, let me know, and I'll consider it. But what else in this collection do I think is worth noting? They have a highlighter. I mean, it doesn't look like my shade. Like it just I mean, the packaging's always pretty. It's a $60 highlighter. If you don't think it's gonna work for you and you can't go to a store, don't buy them. They're not magically gonna work for you. Even the computer is different, the lighting, the swatch is different. I would just assume that the highlight, it's gotta really match your skin tone. There's a nude Divine Blush, Nude Venus 2, Peach Nude with Pearl. That's not my jam. There is a new Velvet Kohl eyeliner, Extreme Black. A couple of matte trance colors, Forbidden Love, Neutral Coral Nude. Those do not interest me. Yeah, that's kind of it for the collection. Not picking up the color mascara. Yeah, I think it's a nice collection. The blushes, to me, they're new shades, but they're kind of more of the same. Would I have preferred, like, ooh, a bronzer for the first time? Yes. Or a new type of lip product for the first time? Yes. We did get these new 5-pan eyeshadow palettes. That's cool. And we got colored mascaras, but otherwise, I don't know. I want some more innovation coming out of Pat. I mean, I would have even expected like a new skincare product besides her essence that she has. Her one skincare product. Like maybe we'll do a moisturizer or a different kind of a primer. You know, so it's interesting to always see what Pat comes up with. Let me know if you guys want to see more looks from this palette. Put a comment below. If you like this video, click the thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.